Good morning, everyone. I'm Curtis Chandler, President of PFL. Welcome back. It is Monday, February 23rd, 2026. Lots moving this week, so let's dive right in. Let's start with the markets. Stocks had a solid week. All three indexes finished higher. The Dow gained 125 points on the week. The S&P added 73 points, and the Nasdaq led the way, up 339 points week over week. In overnight trading, Dow futures are pointing to open at 49,550, down 124 points from Friday's close. Crude oil. WTI was basically flat on Friday, closing at $66.39 per barrel, but was up $3.50 per barrel week over week. WTI is set to open at $66.07, down 41 cents from Friday's close. In inventories, it was a big draw week. Total commercial petroleum stocks fell by roughly 19.1 million barrels week over week. Crude oil led the way, dropping 9 million barrels to 419.8 million, now 5% below the 5-year average for this time of year. Distillates drew 4.6 million barrels and are 5% below the 5-year average. Propane pulled 3.1 million, though it's still 39% above the 5-year average for this time of year. Let's talk rail. Week 8 was a strong one. Total North American rail volumes were up 3.8% year over year. Carloads were up 5.5%, and intermodal was up 2%. 10 of 11 of AR's major traffic areas posted year-on-year gains. The standout was grain, which was up 40% across the network. The weak spot was forest products, which was down 17%. North American rig count was up 2 rigs week over week. The U.S. held flat at 551 rigs. Canada added 2 rigs week over week. Collectively, we are down 61 rigs year over year. Here is what was on our radar last week. It was a busy one. Canada is front and center. Enbridge CEO Craig Ewald made it pretty clear last week a new West Coast oil pipeline isn't happening on his watch. The Northern Gateway experience cost Enbridge 600 million Canadian and ended with the rug pulled out from under them from the government. They have no appetite for a repeat. Meanwhile, the existing mainline is already appropriating barrels, rejecting 13% of heavy crude nominations in January. There are optimization phase in the works, but they're incremental fixes to a system that's already straining. Full breakdown is in today's PFL report. Cenovus just posted record production of 918,000 barrels a day in Q4 after closing on the Meg. They're not slowing down, moving volume, pressing against an already appropriated mainline system means the WCS, WTI differential, already at 23-month high, could widen even further. Crude by rail economics are essentially at break even right now. This is the most important underlying driver of rail crude economics in Western Canada over the next 2 years. We're watching it closely. The canola deal with China takes effect March 1st. China's tariffs on Canadian canola seed dropped from 84% to 15%, and the tariff on canola meal is removed entirely through the year. Canadian canola exports to China were essentially zero since August. If volumes resume, covered hoppers on the Prairie to Vancouver lane start moving again, a lane that has been sitting underutilized for months. PFL has covered hopper exposure in Western Canada and will be monitoring this one as shipments begin moving. The Supreme Court threw out most of Trump's tariffs last Friday, potentially collapsing the legal foundation for Canada, Mexico, and global trade agriculture. Within days, the administration hit back with a 15% tariff across the board, tariff under separate legal authority. CN disclosed that they lost $350 million in revenue dollars related to tariffs. This story is not over. Stay tuned. The UP-NS merger is back in motion. They refiled targeting April submission with closing in mid-2027. CN and CP have both said publicly they'll fight hard for concessions. CP specifically wants access to Houston's chemical alley along the ship channels for shippers of refined products, petrochemicals on the Gulf Coast, the one that matters. And on trucking, federal investigators hit 550 CDL training schools and removed notices following a sting operation across 50 states. The driver pool is tightening measurably. J.B. Hunt said at a Barclays conference last week that capacity is notably tightened, even if it's a seasonally soft period of time. That's a setup for intermodal has been waiting for. After 3 years of freight recession, the window may not stay open forever. Well, that's your week, folks. All these stories are covered in detail in our report. Open it up and dig in. And if you have any questions or need to talk strategy, please give us a call on the desk. We are here for you. Please read PFL's Rail Report today for further details as it relates to today's podcast. In addition, see the latest petroleum carload numbers and import numbers and data related to all petroleum products. We, of course, have quite a few detailed graphs and charts for your viewing pleasure. Please call PFL today for all your railcar needs, including storage, leasing, subleasing, car cleaning, repair, flaring, scrapping, nitrogen generation services, and transloading services. Please pass on the reports to friends and colleagues. It's for free, and we do it all for you. Stay sharp out there and have a great week. Thank you for joining us. Oh, and if you're attending the Opus conference in Vegas, Brian and David are out there right now, so please reach out to us if you don't have their cell phone numbers, and we'll get you in touch with them. And have a great week.